boys and girls. Welcome to Dorian Teaches the Basics on Heroes of the Storm. Today I've set up a custom match. I've set up a custom match on Tomb of the Spider Queen to kind of illustrate the main concept that we're going to be talking about today, which is basically how the game works from a very basic standpoint. So first of all, the first thing you need to know is the name of the game is going to be XP. Okay, getting XP is shared across the entire team, so whenever one person gets experience, everybody on the team gets experience. You have a shared level, and as you'll notice, as these minions are dying here, you'll see the XP pop up above their heads. When we get hero kills, there's going to be XP that pops up above their heads when we get the kill. And you can see the level indicators up here as well. We're both currently level 1, and it looks like our bar's filling a little bit faster. You can get experience from minion kills, which minions are the little guys that hang out in the lanes and keep pushing in waves. You can also get experience from hero kills, from killing an enemy player. And you can also get experience from taking down forts, keeps, towers, things like that are going to give you experience also. So the notion of, and we're going to do a video on kind of early game as well, but I just wanted to make it very clear about what it means to when we call soaking a lane. So one of the biggest things that you can do to really up your gameplay is going to be to constantly be aware of this mini-map down here. And looking at the mini-map, I can see I've got vision on 2 enemies up at the top along with 2 of our allies. In the middle lane here, it's myself and an ally, and we've got, looks like a Kel'Thuzad that's up against us. And then our Tracer is on bottom, battling it out with a Malfurion, and it looks like she's trying to turn in gems, which is this particular map's objective. So there's a lot of stuff going on. So when we talk about soaking a lane, we always want to be watching our mini-map to make sure that we're getting the maximum amount of experience. So right now, if I'm not in this lane before Tychus just joined us, there would have been nobody to get the experience from these minion deaths. So we really want to make sure that somebody is always in range, always there to pick up that experience, or it's just wasted, it's lost, and we're not going to get it again. As you can see, we've been doing a really good job. We've got some hero kills because we've had someone in each of the 3 lanes in this map. We're now a full level, almost a level and a half ahead of our competition. So that's working really well in our favor. Tychus is going to rotate out, so I want to make sure that I'm in this lane here to gain experience. And a more advanced concept that we can talk about later is sort of Minion Flow, which is where the 2 waves of minions will meet up. So if nobody ever hit any of the minions, they're going to meet in the dead center of the lane, and they're going to essentially kill each other out at the same time. The next waves will come in and do the same thing over again. So but we can push a lane by doing damage to their minions, which then allows you can see the next minion wave that's coming in here is going to start meeting their minion wave closer to their towers and now their fort. This is called pushing in a lane, and there's many ways that you can do that. In this case, on this particular map, one of the objectives is this Spider Queen that you can spawn in each lane. That's going to help push. She does a lot of siege damage. She does a fair amount of hero damage as well. And she's going to help push these keeps down. Now watch when this fort dies. We're going to get a nice chunk of experience. 800 experience just popped up there. And so now we have a 3-level lead on our opponents. And our lane is just pushing, pushing, pushing. So we're doing a fantastic job in mid. Looking at the other 2 lanes, again, always keep that mini-map awareness. It looks like we're putting some pressure on their tower up here. Malfurion's there to try and put a stop to our push. Tracer and the Spider Queen are putting a lot of pressure on bottom as well. So that's essentially the notion of soaking a lane. There's another thing that you can do as well that's pretty impactful. So I was hoping to maybe show that in this custom game I made, but these guys were pretty good at splitting up. Let's say you're 1v1 in a lane here, and the waves are meeting in the middle, the minion waves, and we're not really wanting to push them one way or the other. We want to kind of keep the equilibrium of the lane about dead center, because we've got things going on in other lanes and we don't want to overextend and maybe get ganked by one of the enemy players. So we're just kind of hanging out in the bush. As long as you're within vision, as long as the minions are dying on the screen where you can see them, you're gonna get experience for it. So we're kind of, maybe we're just hiding out in this bush and we're just kind of chilling, and then all of a sudden the enemy team sends a person into the lane as well, and so now they're collecting experience from that lane also. So we can sort of double dip on our advantage of soaking the lane if we can engage that hero and deny them. So we would go in pretty hard, and we might be able to illustrate that on the bottom lane actually, because it looks like they're meeting in the middle. So right now Lily is getting experience out of these lanes, and what we want to do is we want to force Lily out of this lane. We want to get her to retreat as far as possible. Kill her if we can is ideal. Okay, and so now Lily is no longer getting any experience from this lane. Right, so they have nobody here soaking this, so I'm soaking it. I'm not losing any XP for my team, but they're losing a significant chunk, and in fact we're able to push in this fort as well. So a lot of times you'll see people hiding in the bush and just kind of soaking the lane. That's not a bad tactic at all, particularly if the enemy composition is such where they've got stealthies or something that can gank you pretty easily, or they're roaming really hard. I don't necessarily want to push my lane in. I'm going to wait for my team before I really commit to pushing in a lane. So in cases like that, it's an acceptable strategy just to hang out and just be nearby and let the minions kill each other. Depending on the circumstances, totally viable. The other thing that I wanted to talk about in this scenario in particular, and we'll probably get into this as we go deeper into kind of laning strategies, but there's something called split soaking or split pushing that you'll often be asked to do. So imagine this for a second. There's 5 players on the team and there's 3 lanes, right? Ideally I want 1 person in each lane, which leaves me, so that's taking up 3 of my heroes. I have 2 heroes left. Those 2 heroes could reinforce one lane and push that lane in. They could split evenly and put 2 in one lane, 2 in another lane, and leave the other one as a solo lane. But what you'll find most often, or what's really kind of a more effective strategy, is if you have a really strong solo laner, somebody like this character that I'm playing now, Zul. He's really good at clearing out minion waves very, very quickly. You can do something called a split soak or a split push. And split push is a bit of a misnomer because it can be used in some different contexts, but essentially what I would do is I would come here, I would kill a minion wave, and then I would immediately move up to the lane here, and I would manage the experience, kill this minion wave off here. By the time I'm done killing this minion wave, the next minion wave in the bottom lane will be meeting my minion wave yet again. And so I am just kind of jungling back and forth between these 2 lanes, and I'm splitting my time between them, and I'm soaking experience between them as well. So it's a pretty phenomenal way to make sure that your team's not really missing out on any experience, and allowing the other 4 members of your team to make really big plays, whether it be, if somebody jumps in and starts to gank me when I'm up in the middle, they can rotate down from top, secure that kill, keep me safe, and keep on trucking. They can grab merc camps. They can be going for map objectives. A 4-man team is going to be a really strong, even a 4v5, while not ideal, is going to give the enemy team some pause when moving into an objective, because they're going to have to come at it a little bit more carefully than if we're split 2 2 1, 2 in one lane, 2 in another lane, and 1 in another lane. If they're using like a 1-4, their 4-man team can basically own any lane because they have numbers advantage wherever they're at. So I hope that I've explained a little bit about how soaking XP works. So the takeaway should be that Being in range of minion kills or structure kills is going to get you XP, not just for you, but for the whole team. It's a shared experience environment. You can get even more value if you can engage the other hero that's in your lane and damage them enough that they have to run away and drink from the fountain, or even hearth back, or you're able to kill them. So not only are you gaining experience, but you're denying that experience to the enemy team. So that's kind of the name of the game. I see that as being one of the major mistakes that a lot of teams make, particularly in Quick Match or in Hero League, is that they get so focused on map objectives, or even more so, they love chasing kills down. And while securing kills is great, in the early game, the respawn timers are like 8 seconds or 10 seconds, and that person is respawned and ready to go again. Versus 60 seconds once you get to level 20 or greater. So going after those kills in the early game, they just don't give you as much experience as simply sitting in a lane and soaking minion waves. So typically the team that plays a better early game and is better at soaking is gonna get that level advantage, is gonna have talent advantages going into team fights later on, and they're just gonna have an easier time in the match. So if I could impart one word of wisdom from this video, it's just to make sure that you understand that XP is the name of the game, and that now you know how to get XP for your team effectively. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.